Namaste. I'm with a new video, how to write job application letters. Dear students, this presentation is specially focused to the students of class 9, 10, 11 and 12. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to learn the different formats of job application letter and write the job application letter in your real life situation in appropriate format. Dear students, before you have to learn how to write job application letters, you have to be familiar with different formats of job application letters. Through these videos, I have tried to display some of the formats and some examples as well. Let us have a look on the first format. This is the first format. In this format, you can see is shown in modern trend, or it is also said block formats, because all the parts of the letters are placed to the left hand side of the page. You can see at the top there is sender address, means you, if you are applying, if you are an applicant, your own address should be mentioned, and after that date, and just below receivers, who is receiving the letters, you have to mention here, and receiver address just below, dear sir, madam, Mr., Mrs. X. So this is the salutation. You may mention sir or madam or Mr. or Mrs. X according to the relation between you and the receivers. If the receivers are familiars, then you may use Mr. and Mrs. But if they are not familiars, you may use dear sir or madam. This format consists of three major paragraphs in the body. The first paragraphs goes like this: in response to your advertisement published on, after on, you can see there is gap, and another on, and there is also gap. It is students, there is a gap because you can see the advertisement in newspapers or any other sources that you have to mention here, and when it was published, then the date should be mentioned after that another on. Inviting application for the post of, for which post the vacancy is announced, that you have to mention here, and after this, I beg to offer myself as an applicant for the same. My necessary particulars or documents are given below for your kind considerations. Dear students, you can use particulars or documents. You can choose any one words, because when you are applying, then you have to include document, that is particulars, the document related to the qualifications, certificates, and curriculum vitae, etc. So this is the introductory paragraphs. In this, you can see how did you get the information for which post. This is how this paragraph introduced. In the second paragraphs, you can see a reference can be taken from number 1, number 2. So here reference, the word reference means an individual that serves as a point of contact for employers seeking to verify or ask questions about a potential employee's background. Dear students, some advertisement demand referees also. The main job of referee is meant for giving your background information, so that the receivers or employers can get easily information about you. In third paragraphs, I'd be grateful if you kindly consider my applications and appoint me to the post-led backends. After that, your faithfully or sincerely, it depends upon your salutations. If you begin with the dear sir and madam, you may write yours faithfully, and Mr. X and Mrs. and Mr. X, then yours sincerely. After that, you should write your signature, name, mobile number, email, and below, just below that, document attached. You have to list the documents, which documents you are submitting, or what is the advertisement is demanding, then you can list here. This is how the first format is complete. Now let's go to the second format. In the second format, this format also the modern trend, there is not any difference from the previous one, because all parts are placed to the left hand side of the page, and only the difference you can see in the second paragraphs. The first paragraph is same, and in the second paragraph you can see something difference, because you have to fill some more information here. So if the advertisement is published, and then this is published for the particular post, and the advertisement demanded some qualification, experience, this is what you mention in these paragraphs. And uh, my necessary particulars of documents, because in which whatever the format you choose, your document must be attached there, so you can mention this. And then again, third paragraph is the same, and complementary closure also same as how you begin salutation, then complementary closure also goes like that, and signature, name, mobile numbers, and all are the similar ones. So from the previous formats, you can see a difference in these formats in the second paragraphs. Now go to some specimen sentence of beginning paragraphs of the body. Body, you can begin the body of the application letters in different way. Some of the sentences you can see here: I'm writing in response to your advertisement for the position of, then you can include the necessary information in the backend one. You may start your first paragraphs of the body like this. You may write with reference to your advertisement in next sentence. I'm interested in applying for the post of, you can mention the post. In response to your advertisement, are like my present myself as a qualified candidate for the post of, and you can include the post. I have come to know that there is a backend post of line inner, then you can complete the necessary information. So this is how the first paragraph of the body of the job application letters, you can begin in any way. You can choose any one of the sentences you will convenience, you remember that. The next one, there are also some specimen sentences in the ending paragraphs. So these specimen sentences are as follows. I would be grateful if you kindly consider my application and appoint me to the post-led backend. Another one, I'd be available for interview, and then you can mention the time, date, and would be pleased to discuss the post in person. And I can arrange to attend an interview whenever convenient for you. I'll be available for interview from and to. You also mentioned it here. And I'd be grateful if you kindly consider my application and appoint me for the post-led backends. So you can choose any of these sentences, and you can conclude your body paragraphs of the job application letters. Now let us have a look on questions, and let us try to write job application according to the advertisements. So please study this advertisement carefully, and you can see advertisement in the newspapers or office notice boards. There are other sources also, and you have to read that in detail. And then after reading, you have to know the name of the post, when it was published, and what is the qualifications. So let me read the advertisement here. Our company is seeking for a young, energetic, and qualified candidate for the post of an accountant. Qualification is BBS, experience 2 years, other skill, a good skill in computer operating, experience is 2 years and above. Interested candidate can apply within 12 days of this announcement with the photocopies of first certificates of academic qualification, experience, and a resume, along with a PP size photo to the manager, Aarti Steel Industry Private Limited, Gramthan Moran contact, also mentioned here. So after you have gone through the advertisements, now be ready to write your job application letters. Let us try with the first format. There is advertisement, and please, it is better to practice with me. How to fill up these formats, because if you fill up some information on the basis of this advertisement, then your job application later is ready. So send the address, because if you are applying, because you are applying in response to this advertisement, you have to mention your address, and after that, date. Dear students, while mentioning the date or while writing the date, you have to take care of the deadline given in the advertisement. So while writing this date, you should not mention the date later than the deadline and earlier than the publication of the notice or the publication of the newspapers. And after that, you have to write the receivers. Here, who is the receiver here? You can see here the receiver is the manager, and then address are the steel factories, Gramthan, Morong, that you have to fill here. And after that, if the manager is not known, then you may start dear sir or madam, you may say dear sir. And your first paragraphs, how do you fill the gap in the first paragraphs? Published on, because you may mention, you have to mention the name of the newspapers or the sources of the information of this advertisement here. Then date also, when it was published, publication date should be mentioned. And inviting application for the post of. What do you feel here? Post of. Post is an accounting. So you can see post, after post there is the word given, then accountant. So your first paragraph is completed. And references, but this is not demanding references anyway. If you do not want to mention the reference, you can omit these paragraphs. But if you want to mention the references, you can give the reference from the any institution, organization, or school where you have got your academic certificates. And also you can mention the persons or employers, previous employers, and their organization also you can mention here. And the third paragraph, you can write as it is, and then yours faithfully. If you start with dear sir, yours faithfully, then you have to give your own name, sign name, mobile numbers, and document attached, because that advertisement also asking the document, what kind of document you have to attach this. Photocopies of certificates, academic qualifications, experience, resumes. You can list that resume, and then photocopies of the certificates, academic certificates, and then experience, and then resume. This is how your job application is ready according to these formats. Now let us try with another formats with the same advertisements, so it is easier for you to understand. So sender address, you can write yourself the date. I have already talked about that. Receiver also, it is clear, the manager, and then a receiver address, and you may begin with dear sir. And first paragraphs, I think there is not a difference in the first paragraph also of the body. And now go to the second paragraphs. There is something different in the second paragraphs. Then what you have to mention here, you have to look at the advertisements, because you can mention the your age, your natures, and your qualification and experience years. So qualification is BBS and experience 2 years, and other district also. Then that is what you can include in this paragraph, and this paragraph is completed, and other are the same as in the previous formats. This is how, according to this format also, your letter is ready. I think if you have tried with me, you have prepared your own job application letter according to this design, according to this layout. Now, how your letter became according to the first format. Okay, you can see this is written by Sketching, and he is from Viratnagar, Morong, and 13th April 2020. Probably it is related to the publication date, and the managers are the Steel Industries, Gramthan, Morong. And I want to go to these paragraphs. What did he feel? The news Srishti Delhi, because he found this advertisement in the news Srishti Delhi in 1st April, and the post also completed. I think you can see that only 3 informations are completed like that. I hope you are done like this. And reference can be taken from, he has mentioned the reference also, the headmaster of Gyanjyoti schools, and then director of CG company, and then he has got academic qualification from Gyanjyoti school, and then presently he's working in CG company. That's why the directors and then masters are the referee for the information about him. And then third paragraphs according to the formats, and it is written by Sketching, his signatures, mobile number, email address also given, and then he document attached, CV, photocopies of academic and experience certificates, and PP size photos. So this is how according to the first format, this job application data is completed. If you are going with me, and your later also become like this. Now how your job application letter became according to the second formats. In the second formats, that heading and then inside address, that is same in the first formats. In the first paragraph also, that is the same thing. That's why I didn't discuss about that. You can see in the third paragraph, second paragraph. In the second paragraph, the same person is writing. He has mentioned, I am a young man of 26 years having sound physics and active habits. I was educated in Vishwavidyalaya campus Kirtipur, where I completed BBS in 2018. Since then, I have been working in a similar company in Sunchari. I have good communication skills and command computer as well. So this information is according to the advertisement. The writer, S.K. Singh, has tried to meet the requirements according to the advertisements. He has mentioned qualification, experience also. So this is how you can complete this paragraph. But after completing this paragraph also, if the advertisement demanding the reference, then you can add one more paragraph here, and then you can mention reference also. So that is ending paragraphs according to the format, and you're faithfully, and other information are given as previous. So this is how we tried in the two formats. Probably you know how to write job application letters. Okay, dear students, while writing job applications, you should be conform to the particular formats so that it is easier to write job application letter. Even if it is asked in the examination, if you set a particular format in your mind, and it can save your time. And even if in real life situation also, if you are going to write job application letters, if you have already said that layout, and it is easier, it is not time consuming as well. So beside this, there are other formats also. If you want to be more, then you can search other also. But if you are familiar with these two formats for the school levels, I think it is sufficient. Now there is, let us compare these two formats, application of these two formats. So there are more similarities, because parts of the letters, and then heading, and then receiver inside address, salutations, and you can see many more things are similar there. But what is the difference is, there is difference in the third paragraph between these two. Here the reference mentioned, but there is not reference. So uh, another difference is that the second format, I think it is a bit longer than the first ones, because the writer has described something in the second paragraphs. So you can choose any of these formats and prepare your job application letters. And I want to suggest the students who are average, and who are not, who are very who feel some difficulties in writing English, and then the more they write, the more mistakes it occurs. If you think so, then better to follow the first format. Okay, and then for other also, if you choose this format, the mainly why do you write the job applications later? Both of these formats can meet the intention or goal of the uh, job application letters. So better to choose any one which is convenient for you, and then you can write your own job application letters. Now, to be familiar with that one, please, I have given some questions for practice. Read the following advertisement carefully and apply for the post. Please read this in detail and apply, and better to practice in both formats, so you can easily remember that formats, and you will be used to writing job application letters. And the second one, write a job application letters to the principal of Rose and Lily Secondary School, Brigance, for the post of primary level English teachers. Mention your qualification of plus 2 pass as required qualification, including experiences. Suppose you are Hira Kumari Mishra from Baker. So this is how please prepare two different job application letter according to that formats. Thank you for watching these videos. I'll be present with another new videos again. Thank you.